Good morning. Such a beautiful spot to make a video. So I thought I would pop in here, and share daily, or weekly, some of the things and issues that come up with the people and the women, mainly women that I coach. Hillary Plauche here. Thanks for tuning in. I find that it's a common thing, and we're human, so oftentimes I think a lot of us feel that we struggle alone, and that the problems that we have are problems that nobody has, which isn't the case. It isn't the case. We're not alone, and we're human, and we're all kind of going through the same things. It's called the ebb and flow of life, right? And the ups and downs, and the super lows can also bring you super high in life, but that's only if you choose it. That's only if you surrender. That's only if you choose it. And I find that, people that I coach, women that I coach, it's a lot about fear, and it's a lot of, old conditioning, subconscious conditioning that came, that was placed on us from our, our childhood, and even, beyond our childhood, abandonment wounds, and, things that we subconsciously carry, and things that we subconsciously repeat ultimately, and they come out 100% in our relationships. And it's oftentimes why, a lot of us can suffer the same kinds of relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they're, boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it is your marriage, and, dating even. And what kind of people, who are you attracting? Who are you attracting into your life? And oftentimes, and I don't know if a lot of you know this, but oftentimes we attract, people into our lives that will, maybe open those wounds, and the universe actually puts those messages in front of you to see if you will choose it, choose to heal, choose to step outside, have courage to, look at that wound, and it's shining a light on that wound, and it's telling you this is where you need to heal. And it could be a toxic person, but the reason we do have allow toxic people in our lives is lack of boundaries, those people-pleasing conditionings, that we had, and maybe there's so many reasons which we could go on all day about, but toxic people will, try and slash through your boundaries in every way they possibly can to, take from you. And if you're an empathetic soul, oftentimes it's hard to set boundaries, and it's hard to step up and just say no to people, right? I know it was for me, and I know that I'm not the only one out there, because I know so many people that I coach, hold themselves back in life because they have lack of setting boundaries. So the reason I say that this, life is about making lemonade, out of your lemons. Life is about making that lemonade, and when you have opportunities, and when you encounter people, and when the stronger that you get, the more that you can say no to those relationships quicker, when you see the red flags, right? And when you see red flags in people, don't ignore them. I can say that every time that I ignored them, and I didn't listen to my gut, I got myself into, I allowed things, and I compromised because, I thought I loved people, and obviously, I don't know if those of you know me, I was divorced this past year. I was married for 4 years, and it was a train wreck, and obviously an unhealed person. I couldn't, you can't make other people happy, right? And no matter what you do, no matter how much you love them, ultimately, the reason they do things, unhealed people, toxic people, whatever you want to call them, the reason that they do things is because they themselves are unhealed. And it's probably one of the biggest key pieces of nuggets of knowledge that was ever given to me, and was the fact that, when people are doing things to you, right? When people are projecting, whatever it is, their anger, their wounds, those ugly things that come out, bullies, they're hurt people, they're people that are carrying wounds around, and they're subconsciously projecting all this toxic stuff onto other people because their ego will not let them see what needs to be healed within them, because ultimately we can only heal ourselves, and we can't make other people happy. We have to make ourselves happy. We have to go within, and we have to be able to put that ego aside and go, gosh, like, how am I hurting the people that I love, and how are my actions affecting other people? You know, it's like the golden rule. And if your actions are hurtful, and if your actions are, you know, causing other people to feel, you know, to hurt their soul, you know, stop. Stop. And we're responsible. You know, it's a choice, and we're all raised to know good and bad. And, you know, there's a lot of abusive people. There's a lot of toxic people, you know, and this isn't an excuse for those people either, because, you know, it's all about choosing and being able to look at yourself, and it's called self-awareness. And there are a lot of people running around who have no self-awareness, and, you know, they're causing chaos and turmoil, and, you know, having, you know, tons of relationships, and, you know, cheating, and, you know, so many crazy things that go on because people are unhealed, right? And ultimately, success in life, right? Success and happiness, and having a well-rounded life, right? And I like to say well-rounded, and I always think of a circle. A well-rounded life is being responsible for your shit. And if you have hurt people in the past, it's not, you know, it's not too late to you know, fix that. You know, look at yourself. Be willing to look at yourself in the mirror. And I wrote a blog about this yesterday. You can go check it out on hillaryplauche.com. But there'd be a lot more peace in the world if people could drop their egos and look in the mirror, look really in the mirror, and look at the things that you're allowing in your life. And I had to look in the mirror and see, you know, what I allowed into my life, which I knew, you know, I knew that it wasn't going to work. I know that, you know, we were on different levels of a vibration, and you can't level people up. You know, people have to choose to level up, and you can't make yourself small for other people. And I spent a few years, you know, in some dark places, and I'm sharing this with you guys. I spent a few years in some dark places from hurt and pain, you know, that I chose, you know, obviously. And I'm thankful that it brought me to this place to recognize where I wasn't loving myself, and, you know, allowing people to take from me. And, you know, not just, you know, not just in my previous marriage, but in friendships, and, you know, in people that I've helped. And, you know, I saw the world through rose-colored glasses, right? And I saw the world through rose-colored glasses, and I believed that I could help the world as a coach, you know. And that's, you know, maybe a little bit of naivety, and a little bit of, like, you know, a good soul, good heart, thinking that everything, you know, everybody's capable. And honestly, everybody is capable if they choose it, and if they do the work. And, you know, you look at somebody, I was watching Elon Musk last night. I was watching a biography on him, and it's so interesting, you know. And the reason I've been successful for 10 years, it's a mindset, and it's a drive, you know. And if you don't handle your shit, right, if you don't heal your wounds, the universe is going to constantly keep giving you challenges. And you can call it karma, you can call it law of attraction. You know, low vibration behaviors and energy attract low vibration behaviors and energy. You know, when you're positive, and you've raised up, and you've leveled up, and you're living consciously, and you're living with, you know, the fact that everything I do affects the universe, everything I say affects the universe, and the collective consciousness of who we are, you know. I can only manage me, right? I can only manage my space. And if I can make my space beautiful, hopefully I can send that message out there to you, and maybe inspire you to take a look in the mirror and look at how you're showing up in the world. How are you showing up to the people that you love? And, you know, are you, you know, if you've caused hurt and pain with people, make it right. You know, you got to set things right. And, you know, you can forgive toxic people. It doesn't mean that you have to allow them back into your life. You have to forgive them for yourself. Forgiveness is not for that person. And, you know, I've had the closest people to me in my life, my best friend, you know, betrayal, and to me, honesty and truth and loyalty is huge. And I opened my heart to people that I shouldn't. I opened my space. I opened my bubble, and I didn't listen to red flags. But I can tell you, as painful as some of the things that I went through in the past few years emotionally, obviously, it's growth, and it's learning. And if you can, real growth is actually learning from it and rising above it, and handling your shit and being mindful and clearing and cleaning. And it's why I got into doing Ho'oponopono, which is Hawaiian. If you don't know anything about it, you can ask me, or I can give you some links to read about it. But it's really brought peace into my life, and knowing the fact that if there's something that is an issue in my life, or something that is a trigger, that somebody says or somebody does, it's my responsibility that there's some conditioning out there in the world that's causing them to do that they're subconsciously unaware of. And until they're self-aware, I can't help them. I can only fix me. I can only choose to help me and fix me and manage my garden. I say that all the time, but it's so true. And stop making yourself small. I did that, out of compromise and to prevent conflict, and that's part of the people pleasing things. And it sucks, because all it does is it brings you, to living a life that's, kind of inauthentic. And when you're stifling your feelings and you're making yourself small for other people, and, dimming your voice, and, you're not living in your authentic self. You're not, making lemonade. You're not showing up in your life and living an authentic life, living in a happy life. And people like Elon Musk, people like, he's a free thinker. And, I keep referring to him because I obviously just watched a documentary and read a book. But it's fascinating how rigid he is, and any successful entrepreneur that's, whether it's, a few 100,000, 6 figures, whatever it is, somebody that's showing up consistently, putting in the hard work, but he makes good on his word consistently. And he shows up with, 100% like perfection, I mean, look at everything that he's done. Like, look at Steve Jobs, look at Richard Branson, any successful entrepreneur. It isn't about the drive for money. It's the drive to be better. It's the drive to do something different. And, I know for myself as an entrepreneur, it was never necessarily about the money. It was about having the freedom to choose to do what I want and choose to live how I want, and have the freedom to do that, and be able to inspire other people to know that there's more to life than a 9-to-5 job that you hate. There's more to life than being stuck in marriages or relationships with people that bring you pain and, take from you. It's okay to say no. It's okay. It's okay. And sometimes it's the hardest thing to let go of people that you love. But if they're causing chaos in your life, it's okay, because you have one life, one freaking life, and there are a billion people on the planet, let me tell you. And learn from it, grow from it, but never take it back. Never go backwards. The future is about looking forward. The future is about growing. The future is about expanding your self-awareness and fixing your shadow, fixing those flaws, and honoring and embracing the fact that you have, flaws, that you have, pain that you need to heal, and dig deep and find it. Because until you're self-aware of the things, those things that you subconsciously do, and you just say, that's just me, and there's no more of like, well, it's your brother, it's your mother, it's your girlfriend, or whoever it is, it's them, so it's okay. No, it's not okay. It doesn't matter who it is. If someone is not treating you okay, and somebody is causing chaos in your life, it's okay to close the door. It's okay to forgive. Forgiveness, again, is for yourself. It's okay to move on, and it's okay to disappear. It's okay to cut them out of your life, right? Because life is too short, and take the lesson, grow from it, learn from it, and make those lemons into lemonade. It's the ebb and flow, and have the courage. I can't say it enough, is to really embrace courage. Fear is fear. Courage comes from the heart, and you think David didn't look at the Goliath, and do you think he wasn't fearful? He was totally fearful, but he had courage and he had heart and he believed in himself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is having confidence in yourself and surrendering to the fact that when you choose good, good happens. When you consciously choose to be self-aware and choose good and live mindfully and really protect your happiness, protect your joy, protect your space, protect who you let into your life, protect all of it, build a moat if you have to. And if you get bad vibes from someone, it's the law of attraction. It's your inner compass telling you. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to not answer a text. It's okay to block. It's okay to remove. It's okay to disengage. It's even okay to get divorced, you guys. And I can tell you it's probably the best thing I ever did. And life has been peaceful. Life has been grand. And I haven't really shared it this much publicly, but it's time. It's me. And if you guys can learn from it, I hope you can. Being successful for 10 years, I showed up in my business like a boss, and I've always showed up in my business like a boss. But I know if I'm struggling in my personal life, I'm not inspiring other people. And if I'm not protecting my bubble to keep my space peaceful and positive and joyful and happy, and I allow people in there to, pierce that bubble, I'm not being very mindful. So it's very important to me. And going into 2020 in this decade, I feel at 45 years old, I feel the most confident and the most awesome that I've ever felt. And I really love where I'm at in life. And I feel like age is like a level, level 45, I'm gonna be 50 in April. Like I'm gonna be 46 in April, not 50. Don't rush it, but it's okay. It's another level, and I'm not scared to age. I probably look and feel better than I did when I was 35, when I started this journey. Embrace your masculine, embrace your feminine, balance, like I said, well-rounded, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to toxic things. It's okay to say no. It's okay to, take time for yourself, to ground yourself. I know for me as an empath, I need space from people, and I'm energy sensitive, so I can feel people. I can feel when they're being dishonest. I can feel, when something's not right, when something's off. I can feel, and I didn't know enough to honor those a few years ago, but through, obviously learning and working through things, I've learned that, I'm very highly energy sensitive, and I honor it. I honor it with nature. I follow the moon cycles, and I really live mindfully based on those cycles. And if I feel like I need a day of self-care, I do, and I turn off the computer and I turn off the phone, and I don't schedule things, on those days, and I manage that. This is how I keep myself well-rounded and balanced. And I hopefully I gave you some nuggets today, and I hope that you will take your lemons and make lemonade. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to change. You live one life, and if you're 45, or if you're getting up there in life, and the more that you let your life run out of control, the older you get, the harder it is to get it back under control. But you can do it. You can choose it. We always have the power of choice. It's nobody, your life is your choice. It's nobody else's to blame. Nobody else is at fault. If you look around and you look at your life and you look at what you have and what you've got and what you've, where you've gotten to, it's a sum of all the choices that you've made. And were they good choices or were they bad choices? Did you learn from those choices? Did you grow from those choices? Or can you continue to make those bad choices? And only when you're self-aware can you look back and go, all those things happened because I was there, right? Whenever there's a problem, whenever there's an issue, whenever there's something going on, you're there. You are the only one who can change it. And live mindfully and take those lemons and make lemonade. And as it's getting brighter, as the sun's coming in, let me move that a little bit. But I hope you got something, and if you got some things from this message, I hope that you'll leave a comment below, maybe even share this with someone who you think it may help. And check out my website. I have a lot of fun things, a lot of blogs, and I have a lot of some free tools on there for you, some recommended readings, some things that have really helped me, some of my favorite books. And just say hey and come join my free group on Facebook. We're doing February is the month of self-love, and I'm really focused on not just the fitness part, but the mindset, working on that mind. So I hope to see you in there, and I really truly appreciate you watching and following me and supporting me, and peace out. Have an amazing day. Good vibes.